Welcome back, Looplers! Today's daily is, again, pretty rough. I employed a combination of strategies from previous videos. It's just a silver hot dog with a gold car. Doesn't seem too bad, but again, like yesterday, there's no real way to increase our top speed. And so today's strategy was a bit interesting. We start with just taking efficiency, and we basically don't grab any boost cards. We just want to focus on making as much money as we can and saving as much durability as we can. I grab that 2.5x speed and then I do sell it immediately. Well, almost immediately. I feel like you can get away with not selling it. I don't know. It'll give you like 10 more gold later on, but gold stops being an issue after round 6. So, up to you. I don't think it made that much of a difference in the run. Then we get this pit stop. In it, we upgrade our fuel again. Important thing with this pit stop, you do have to pin, you can pin using the right click, that flask. Otherwise, you will not get the reroll that I get, which rerolls into a identified flask and the gold gate. You do need those two. If you don't pin that flask, you don't get those. And then I also finished Banish Charm, and then we're just back to looping. We are using overload gates to get all our boost. Because they ignore the boost cap, it doesn't matter how much top speed we have. We can just plop that down and pray. I banished that score charm. There's only like 2 other charms outside the ones we want to buy, and that's score and the clover. So once we banish those 2, all we get are like the engine cylinders and the skulls, basically. But yeah, like I was saying earlier, the overload gates are our source of boost. They give us far more than anything else does in this entire level, and it's the only way we can actually get through 800,000 loops. Everything's just going to be really fast here. The early 6 rounds are pretty simple. You just plop down the gate and then you let your fuel stuff handle it. Boom, I grab the boost cap. Not really necessary, but I grab it on the wheels and the engine because you want to maximize your engine slots for modifiers and your wheel slots for modifiers so you can get specific modifiers. And then later on, I don't buy any modifiers for the pump yet, but later on there are pump modifiers you can buy. I grab overload gates, and then I grab the stopwatch as well. Here's our gold rush, so our money problems are solved with identified flask. And then just upgrade the overload gate as much as you can. And this round is where I start upgrading the fuel tank. I grab refuel efficiency and increased fuel. The overload gate subtracts directly from our max fuel, so getting fuel consumption is not as important in this run, since it doesn't really do much. And then I grab these boost gates just to help with the very, very start of the run to get some speed going. I don't think it's needed otherwise, but I plopped them down because we got boost cells. Why not? Then we grab the efficiency, and we're really close to maxing out. We do max it out in this level. And then I grab... on the engine, I'm looking for boost gain and boost decay slower. That'll give us more time to do the strategy we employ later. And then I max them out because we have all the money we need. Boost gain works really, really well with overload gate because it gets you way more value than the gate by default provides. And then I end up looking at, I believe, the wheels next, and we're looking for boost decay on those as well. Yep, there's the wheels, and there's the boost decay. I don't think it's necessary, I just like it because it gives you a little more leniency in the strategy later. I'll have more time to explain it later, so that's why I'm kind of brushing past it for now. I plop down these ghost gates to get us the loops a little bit faster, so this entire run is a bit faster. And then I grab the pump here so we can have 3 modifier slots on it so we can get all the fuel modifiers. And here we have the shop. Just skip all the packs. We don't need anything except for this one. We need the Frozen Drift. This is how we win the run. It is our key card. It is our win condition. Then by skulls, you can replace the gold gate. We don't need it. I replace it with a ghost gate. And then in a little bit here, I do accidentally replace that ghost gate with an overload gate. If you don't do that, you'll score a little bit higher. Just ignore that. You'll see me like pause for a second as I realize my mistake. And then I immediately replace it with something, and then I get a ghost gate to replace it with normally. So it all worked out, but I do lose like I think 20 to 40 boost on that because of that whole mishap, but it's fine. It just made the run take slightly longer than it should have. I think my first run was a minute shorter. Now, with Frozen Drift, what you want to do is wait for all your fuel to run out, all of it. You see how I have 3% left, and so my speed is still ticking down? You don't want that. You want the entirety of your fuel bar to run out, and then swap it over. And then once you do that, you'll build up enough Frozen that you can then swap the cards between the gold and the freeze to then make money during the run. I'll showcase that more in round 11. I didn't do it round 10 because the money you generate during that round doesn't really impact the final shop. You mainly want the round 11 cash. But that's the strategy for this run. We do ban the clovers here and we grab that extra skull. And then round 10, I think I do a better job of, well, firstly I go buy the fuel upgrades on that pump, and then I do a better job of showing how to do the frozen thing. Grab all the fuel upgrades, and then I upgrade them real fast. Bam, 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 bam. There we go. And then here's what you want to do. You want to wait for everything. Refuel efficiency, all fuel to hit 0, and your speed start decreasing, and then notice how it's completely stopped. You're not losing any speed anymore, and the car will just stay at this speed, and you'll be permanently frozen for the rest of the round. Don't know why it works like that, but it works like that. So, fantastic. And we'll just stay that way until the round ends. A lot of this is sped up. That was 4x speed. Buy the Frozen Drift upgrade. I don't think it really matters. We have infinite freeze anyways, but it does give you a little more leniency in the swapping strat. So you wait, and then you swap, and then what you do is you wait for a little bit of your freeze to build up, and then swap with your gold. And then your freeze will go down, but then you'll generate a bunch of money, and then you just flip-flop back and forth like that for the rest of the round. And I end up with around 61k. I think you can get close to 70, but again, the reroll cost gets too high for you to be able to spend that money anyways. You end up being short like, I think 80k gold. So you're not making up that gap even if you do farm round 10. So just end up around somewhere end up around 60k and you should be good. And then I skip this as well, and we're just skipping everything else. That's just the run. From here on out, it is mostly AFK. You just buy whatever's in this last shop. I don't know, this was a very interesting daily. I really liked the strategy of it, of getting to use the Frozen Drift overload gate strat that I was trying to cook up a couple dailies ago. And so actually getting to use it today was really cool. And I did not realize that the speed would get stuck like that. In this shop, you do want to buy all the skulls you see. I think I ended up with a round 21. That gets us to 70 million score requirement, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it's just like a 13-minute wait for the run to be over, depending on how high level your overload gate is and when you swap the Frozen Drift in. I think my first run, I had like 257k speed or something, and this one I had 230k. And so it was slightly longer by like a couple minutes. But yeah, upgrade stuff. I think you can swap those boost gates out for ghost gates. Not entirely sure. It'll speed the run along, like time-wise, but it shouldn't impact your score. But yeah. Again, just looking at the car parts. We want fuel on all those. We want boost gain, boost decay. That's like the important 3. Fuel, boost gain, boost decay. And then that's what I ran with. Boost cap doesn't matter because overload gates ignore that. Then as you can see here, I did stop the boost at around 236k, and so that's just the run. We sit here for 13 minutes. I like went. Like made food. I don't know. It's just a 13-minute wait. Very fun run, very interesting. Shorter than yesterday's, so I'm very grateful for that. And a lot more like hands-on, at least in round 11, with the whole swapping to make money. But otherwise, I do think there are some ways you can improve it, maybe. Maybe pinning different things in the shops. Generating more money, maybe around 9, maybe earlier. Not entirely sure, but would love to see someone give it a try. But that's basically all for me. That's just the run. On my first run, I got to 10,000 seconds of freeze. This one, unfortunately, did not make it that high. Still, though, really enjoyed getting to use this strategy on an actual daily. And there we have it. I scored, I think, 80 loops or something less, 90, than my first attempt. But we ended up around the same at 826k. I had a lot of fun. I'm hoping to see some other scores on there. Hopefully, because it's a shorter one, people will have more runs done. But that's all from me. I will catch you guys tomorrow.